Football League.
You can get it done. You can get it done. What's more, you gotta get it done.
Somebody from the CIA came to speak to us because they were looking for secretaries, and I actually was accepted to work for the CIA and had a date to go to Washington, D.C., and a friend of mine called and said, there's a new football team in Boston. And I called the Boston Globe, got the name of the general manager.
General Manager Ed McKeever is an old hand at football problems. Anything from getting a new player to flying the team all over the country.
And as part of the interview, he put out a piece of paper and put 11 circles on the piece of paper and said, this is the offense of a football team. Name the positions. And I put the tackles next to the center, and the guard should have been next to the center. And I thought, well, that'll be it. 2 days later, he called me and said, would you come to work for the Patriots? So I started in June of 1960.
Joan Parker's is the voice you may hear when you call Congress 1776.
Our house was set up the way our antenna was turned to ABC and NBC, so I used to have to beg my dad, let's go up on the roof, let's turn the antenna so I can see the CBS Eagles game at the Cardinals or wherever they were. It got to be too much of a chore, and my dad convinced me just, watch the other channel, ABC. There's a game on there.
Houston now is in the midst of a 40-yard drive.
The thing that drew me towards it were people like George Blanda, Billy Cannon.
They give it to Cannon. He's at the 10.
Then it became less important to watch the Eagles.
I remember growing up in Annapolis and sitting on the floor, black and white TV, of course. After watching the first game, either the Redskins or the Colts, then the second AFL game would come on. It was a way to spend the rest of the Sunday afternoon and a way to postpone homework.
At the time when the AFL started, I was like, 22, 23 years old. A lot of guys that were playing were friends of mine. I mean, guys that I played in college with or guys that I played against. That's what the AFL was initially, more opportunities for players to play. And then as I started in coaching, there was more opportunities for coaches to coach.
I never forget the first meeting we had in 1960. I said, listen, I do not know how long the American Football League is going to last, but I'm going to guarantee you this. We are going to be the winningest team in the history of the American Football League. Write that down and underline it.
The only history book that concerned the founders of the American Football League was the one they were writing.
Just keep matriculating the ball down the field, boys.
One that offered a perfect reflection of its time. How fitting that it began on a jet ride through dreamy clouds above a fruitful nation. In the hand of a humble man not yet 30, who believed the old way was not the only way.
You can get it done. What's more, you gotta get it done.
His words were quiet and measured. His league was sound and fury. His name was Lamar Hunt. This story belongs to all the people whose lives he changed forever.
Coming up, the NFL takes notice.
Suddenly, the NFL, which had no interest in expansion, started a franchise in Dallas.
So, hey, Coach, what are you doing here?
Well, Dan, since I lost 32 pounds on Nutrisystem, I feel so good, I thought I'd take your advice and get back in the game.
It's so exciting to meet you, Coach. You look great.
Wow, Coach, you really are back in the game.
Well, you too, Dan. What are your numbers?
I lost 22 pounds, and I've kept it off for 3 years. Coach, I'm back to my playing weight.
Get back in the game in 2010 with Nutrisystem for Men. Order now and you can get 2 weeks of meals absolutely free. Plus the all-new Nutrisystem Jumpstart Kit, designed to put you on the fast track to awesome weight loss.
Hey, you guys. Boomer. Well, thanks to you guys, I did go all the way, and I reached my goal. Whoop! 50 pounds lighter, thanks to Nutrisystem.
Isn't he cute?
Nutrisystem is based on the proven science of the glycemic index. High in fiber and good carbs to keep you feeling fuller longer and help consistently burn calories. Just ask the 4 out of 5 men who say that Nutrisystem satisfies their hunger.
The best part is I never felt hungry. You kidding me, Dan? With all that great food, I found 50 ways to lose my blubber. Pizza, burgers, pasta. Coach, that's what we call real guy food.
Order now and you can get 2 weeks of meals free. That's 14 breakfasts, lunches, dinners, desserts, and snacks.
So, Coach, how is the squad looking?
Best ever. You know, I have a real Hall of Famer at the helm.
LT?
Why not, Danny boy? I lost 35 pounds on Nutrisystem.
Ready?
Okay! Pieces, pastas, burgers, meat. Come on, guy food is all you eat.
Start the year off right. Order now and you can get 2 weeks of meals free. Plus, you'll get the all-new Nutrisystem Jumpstart Kit, our secrets to ultimate weight loss. Call or click now.
We're all back in the game thanks to Nutrisystem.
This Saturday at noon on NFL Game Day Morning, Kerry Rhodes and the Jets' playoff hopes came down to the final game of the season.
Right now, it's win or go home, man. Everybody knew it was a big game for us, prime time, Sunday night. The emotion was just, you could feel it permeating from the beginning of the game. The whole world was watching. It was a chance for us to show the world what we're about. We're actually a good team. We can get it done.
Super Bowl Journey on NFL Game Day Morning, Saturday at noon, only on NFL Network.
I'm Darren Horton. This NFL Network Now update is presented by Sprint. The Seahawks have fired head coach Jim Mora after just 1 year on the job. Seattle finished third in the NFC West with a 5-11 record. The Seahawks brought Mora on as an assistant head coach 2 years ago in anticipation of Mike Holmgren's departure after the 2008 season. Now the former NFC West champs are without a coach, GM, and president less than 4 years after they appeared in the Super Bowl. Saturday, the Bengals host the Jets, but before kickoff, Chad Ochocinco will sit down with Marshall Faulk on Game Day Morning. Don't miss it.
I'm only going by what you told Bob Costas, that if Reeves shuts you down, he was going to change your name back.
He didn't shut me down. I had 0 catches, right? I dropped 2 balls.
That's not...
It's nothing he did, you know.
So he didn't shut you down?
Chad, please.
Enjoy full color football, the history of the AFL. This Network Now update presented by Sprint.
I think probably my mother must have been bitten by a show business bug when she was pregnant with me, because that's just something that's of interest to me. I love show business. I love working on how do you attract the public to buy a ticket.
Well, certainly Hunt was one of the first sports entrepreneurs, as we would call them now. He had a notion of sports as an entertainment business that preceded most of his peers. You know, this was a guy who jumped to the AFL from a failed venture in miniature golf franchising.
A bogey of a business plan wouldn't hurt Lamar Hunt, who at any point could have chosen to fall back on his family's oil fortune. What pumped through Lamar's veins was his love for the spectacle of sport. At age 26, he watched the NFL title game on television.
Barking out the signals for the Baltimore Colts.
There, in a black and white image, he saw a full-color future in professional football, a growing game in a nation coming of age.
The late 50s were a time of tremendous growth. There was more free time, there was more money, and America is moving out to the suburbs, and they are starting to enjoy the spoils of victory in 2 world wars. As all this is happening, the owners of the NFL weren't really interested in expanding. They had stuck together through a world war, through a challenge from the All-American Football Conference. Now that the pie was finally getting larger, they weren't really interested in giving somebody else some pieces of it. Lamar Hunt wanted an NFL franchise, but the owners of the NFL told him the NFL wasn't going to expand. The only way he was going to get into the league was to buy a franchise, and the only franchise that was even considered to be for sale were the Chicago Cardinals. And he goes down to talk to the owner of the Cardinals in Miami. Walter Wolfner And at one point, Wolfner boasted, look, Bud Adams down in Houston wants a team. There's people in Denver. There's people in Minneapolis. All these places want an NFL team. I don't need to deal with you. So Lamar Hunt shakes his hand, gets on a plane from Miami back to Dallas.
And then the thought occurred to me, and it was literally like a light bulb going off. Hey, if all of these people, me included, want to have teams in a new league or in pro football, why wouldn't a new league succeed? I asked myself that question, and then I thought, well, it will.
He gets some airline stationery and etches out the plans for this new league. This is how many teams, this is what the schedule's like, this is what the budget's going to be like. And then, typical of Lamar Hunt, he gets this great idea and tells nobody. And spends the next few months just very studiously, very carefully planning out how he's going to begin this new football league.
A new league was the least of the NFL's problems. Congress wanted NFL Commissioner Bert Bell to explain why his league should not be prosecuted as a monopoly. So when Bell learned of Hunt's plans, he decided it was time everyone knew about the budding American Football League.
The most exciting new development on the American sports scene came to life in 1960 with the birth of the American Football League. Teams at New York, Buffalo, Boston, Denver, Oakland, Los Angeles, Dallas, and Houston.
I was in the locker room with Cleveland Browns when Paul Brown got up and said, there's a new league starting. Don't pay any attention to it. It's not going to succeed. It's bunch of sons of rich guys that, don't know anything about football.
Everyone in the National Football League took a pretty much negative attitude towards the new league. But underneath all of it, I thought it would give us a chance to get higher salaries because now we had competition for the NFL. Before that, the only place we could go was to Canada. We had no leverage because I didn't want to go to Vancouver or somewhere.
The NFL was paying attention. Its owners made Hunt and Houston's Bud Adams an offer. Abandon your plans for a new league, and you can each have an expansion franchise in the old one. When both Texans refused, the NFL changed its approach.
In late August, Lamar is back in Dallas, and he gets a call on a Saturday afternoon from Associated Press reporter who wants to ask him if he's got any response to the news out of Houston.
Suddenly, the NFL, which had no interest whatsoever in expansion, started a franchise in Dallas, Texas, which happens to be where Lamar Hunt has his team. They also stole one of the AFL's planned initial franchises.
You can order your tickets now from the Minnesota Viking ticket office.
Minnesota was to be a part of the AFL, and the NFL turned around and offered that same owner group an expansion franchise in the NFL.
I think at that instant, Lamar Hunt realized he was now in a fight. They were going to try to destroy the AFL before it could start.
Coming up, the AFL finds its leader.
What you want is somebody that can open every door in the United States, and I have the confidence that I'm the guy that can do that.
New men, new battles, new season. Premieres Sunday at 9 p.m. on History.
The top college seniors in the nation showcase their talent on the gridiron in the premier college football all-star game. The path to the draft begins with the 2010 Under Armour Senior Bowl. Live January 30th, exclusively on NFL Network.
Which were the greatest games of the 2009 regular season?
Takes the snap, rolls, end zone, touchdown, Detroit Lions!
Find out on NFL Films Presents tomorrow at 9 on NFL Network.
The day we landed Flight 1549 on the Hudson, people called me a hero. But I want you to meet someone who's a real hero to me. Her name is Aubrey. She's 9 years old, and she's a patient here at St. Jude Children's Research Hospital.
Yep, I have ALL leukemia.
Every day, thousands of children around the world depend on St. Jude's life-saving work. They're all heroes, fighting for their lives, and they need your help to survive. Call today and become a St. Jude Partner in Hope for only $19 a month. You'll help provide breakthrough treatments, research, and cures. No child is ever turned away because of a family's inability to pay.
I support St. Jude, and I can assure you that the money you give is going to do something extraordinary. Save children's lives. Nothing could be more heroic than that.
Please, call the number on your screen right now.
Work.
But why, some say, the moon? Why choose this as our goal? And they may well ask, why climb the highest mountain? Why, 35 years ago, fly the Atlantic? Why does Rice play Texas? We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon.
It seemed an almost impossible feat. We're going to go to the moon? Yeah, and I'm going to become the Dalai Lama. I mean...
This was an age of daring. America would shoot for the moon. The American Football League would aim for the NFL and do it with a former fighter pilot as its commissioner.
Most people thought it probably should be a football figure. Of course, Joe Foss was a person of significant national prominence.
He was one of the great heroes of World War II. As a Marine Corps pilot, knocked down 26 Japanese planes. He was a big, good-looking guy, been the governor of South Dakota.
Questioning went along these lines. Have you ever played football? I said, oh, yes, I played in college. Well, have you ever coached? And I said, my coaching was fighter pilots. If you lost, you got killed. But I don't think you really want to coach. What you want is somebody that can open every door in the United States. And I have the confidence that I'm the guy that can do that. And Lamar said, say, are you interested in a commissioner's job?
The commissioner of the American Football League, Mr. Joe Foss. Let's welcome Mr. Joe Foss.
He had energy, he had charisma, he had drive. People would call the league offices and the secretary would say, Commissioner Foss is en route. That meant he was flying his own plane somewhere. He would go around and make speeches to this Chamber of Commerce or this group of Shriners and talk up the American Football League.
He was an outstanding representative for the American Football League in carrying our story to the American public.
This is it. We'll let the ball players do the talking today. Merry Christmas to you all.
My name's Buster Ramsey, and I've come to coach the Buffalo Bills. What do you say? Let's get started.
Let's talk about humble beginnings. When we watched films, we would hang up a sheet, a white sheet, and we would sit on milk cartons. And we would watch the films, then we'd go out on the field and practice.
In the AFL's early days, some teams were a bit threadbare. Denver couldn't afford to outfit its players, so practice gear was strictly BYO. The game uniforms they were given were UGLY.
Mustard-colored jerseys with chocolate brown pants and those vertical striped socks that we wore.
People would laugh at you. They said, we feel sorry for you that y'all have to wear stuff like that.
You can't see the striped socks in this footage of the AFL's first game, but watch closely and you'll see Denver's Al Carmichael scoring the first touchdown in league history. At the start, the new league wasn't always easy on the eyes, whether it was the uniforms, the game films, or stadiums like the dilapidated Polo Grounds, home to Coach Sammy Baugh's New York Titans.
Worst damn place I ever saw. It had been run down. They didn't clean it up or anything. Made me sick just to go out on the field.
To make its grass greener, the AFL needed all the help it could get.
I had to go to Dallas, Texas, July the 1st of 1960. And we had 129 guys there. And I noticed at the end of practice, there was a guy come out there every day and he would water the field. Later I found out it was Lamar Hunt.
these players have got the choice. For the first time in, I guess, 10 years, they have a choice of where they can go play.
Lamar Hunt's humility impressed everyone he met, sometimes in stark contrast to the NFL's approach.
Pittsburgh drafted me in the NFL. Buddy Parker was a guy, him and Bobby Lane came to my house, drunk. Was on my front porch about 5:30, woke me up. So we gonna draft you this morning. They were so drunk they were holding each other up in front of my house saying, the hell with that NFL. I don't think they knew my dad was a minister. He went out front. He said, well, you look, my dad was a big old black guy. He talked with a deep voice. You won't be going to Pittsburgh. I said, yes, sir.
The Reverend Haynes was far more impressed when he met Lamar Hunt, and so Abner signed with the AFL's Dallas Texans. Signing players was just part of Hunt's effort to build a team that could battle the rest of the AFL on the field, and that off it could compete with the NFL's Cowboys.
Injuries impaired the Cowboys' offense, but they still managed to hold their own against the toughest competition in the world.
The Cowboys were from the lordly NFL, and they definitely didn't feel like they had to stoop to sell tickets. The AFL, they felt like people have to know who we are, so they did almost anything.
Lamar Hunt, for being as unassuming as he was, loved show business, and he'd billed his team as the Zing team of pro football, Z-I-N-G. The Cowboys played some games on Friday nights. The Texans would often have a promotion that if you bring a ticket stub from Friday night's high school football game, you get into Sunday's Texans game for free, to get the crowd away from the Cotton Bowl on Friday night and going to their high school game. And then that was the level at which the war was fought.
Cowboys' first 3 years were bad.
They're playing in the established league. They've got the name stars showing up to the Cotton Bowl, but they're losing week in and week out. The Texans have this young team, this exciting team, Abner Haynes, playing this dynamic brand of football.
From coast to coast, from September to December, the American Football League race was a hectic and exciting one. We feel like December 1961 will find the American Football League championship resting in the hands of the Dallas Texans.
Tom Landry admitted to me years later the Texans would have beaten us. It would have been a headline back then. It would have been huge news for the Cowboys to admit that the Texans were better.
Coming up, tough times in New York.
Mr. Wismer really thought we were going to have 40, 50,000 people. And when that didn't happen, he just couldn't function.
It's the first word in the morning. It's higher intelligence from the field. It's go deep analysis. It's inside access. It's the final word at night. Watch NFL Game Day all day. Only on NFL Network. You want the NFL? Go to the NFL.
Right now, Mrs. Jones is freeing herself from restrictive calling circles and switching her entire family to Sprint. That way, her daughter isn't limited to lame calling plans. Her son can talk all day long. And while on the Sprint network, if her husband pocket dials any mobile phone nationwide,
Oh, this is Flavor Flav. Who's this?
it's no big deal. Welcome to the Now Network. Get any mobile anytime for just $42.50 a month per person with unlimited text and data. And right now, buy a BlackBerry Curve for $49.99 and get a second one free. Sprint, the Now Network. Nothing matches that dentist level of clean. But imagine if you could get that dentist smooth clean feeling every time you brush at home. You can with Oral-B rechargeable brushes.
Dentist-inspired cupping action surrounds each tooth to remove up to twice as much plaque as a regular manual brush. The power of a dentist smooth, clean feeling every day. Oral-B rechargeable brushes starting at $22. Satisfaction guaranteed. Visit Oral-B.com for details.
I'd like the sirloin, chicken and pork too, all wrapped in bacon, and all for around $10.
Security! You can't match Golden Corral's Applewood Grill. It's sirloin, chicken breast, and our new scallops, all with Applewood bacon, all for around $10. Only at Golden Corral.
With NFL downloads, you can download highlights from every NFL game,
Incredible catch!
including NFL Network programming and more.
He's down the sideline. Touchdown! This is unbelievable.
You want the NFL? Go to the NFL.
Troy! Big time players make big time plays. Talk about that fourth quarter interception.
Well, you know, I owe my gray hair to Head and Shoulders. It's for more than just dandruff.
Right, no, I want to know about the game-winning interception.
Head and Shoulders, the 7 great things for my scalp and hair.
Didn't ask about your hair, Troy.
You asked with your eyes, Trent. You asked with your eyes.
Head and Shoulders, 7 benefits, 1 bottle. Respect the scalp, get the hair.
All I want is NFL Network.
Down the road from Dallas, the AFL's Oilers were the only pro football team in Houston. From the start, Houstonians had as much pride in their team as they did in their city.
Houston was under, at that time, the shadow of Dallas. You thought of Texas, well, Dallas is sort of the big city there. You said, wait a minute. Dallas is barely a Texas city. This was our attitude. Because Dallas is the only place in Texas that looks north and east for approval. We don't look for approval any damn person.
In the boomtown of Houston, pro football began with a bang. It came when Oilers owner Bud Adams doubled the offer that the NFL Rams made to college football's most explosive player.
Cannon is the only guy I can think of before Namath that really had that kind of, marquee name.
To Billy the Atomic Cannon, it is my privilege to present to you the Heisman Trophy for 1959.
Signing Billy Cannon was part of the Oiler owner's master plan, to win points with his fans by scoring them on the field.
Bud Adams had the idea that in the early days, good defensive backs and good pass coverage would not be in existence, so they did build their team around offense.
Directing the Oilers' offense was George Blanda, a backup quarterback and place kicker discarded by George Halas and the NFL's Bears. Out of the game in 1959, grateful for a new football life in the AFL.
There were a lot of players that came from the NFL that wanted to show the NFL that they made mistakes. And George was one of those guys. Sometimes we think, we get carried away with he wanted to show George Halas. Well, a lot of people want to show people, but they don't have what it takes to do it. George had what it took to do it.
We were back deep in our own territory, and I could just feel on this particular down that they were going to bring in the linebackers and maybe even a safety. So I called full protection, and we isolated Billy Cannon on their free safety. But he swung out of the backfield, and they weren't going to catch him.
Houston's offense carried it to the AFL's first 2 titles.
Gus Grissom is teeing up the ball as the honorary referee. George Blanda shakes his hand. One of our great astronauts who is stationed here in our Space Center in Houston.
The city that was home to the U.S. space program was also the launch pad for the AFL's first great air show. To its big-time team, Houston had an undying devotion, come hell or high water to the Gulf Coast.
Playing Oakland in 1961, and a hurricane was fixing to come in. It was Hurricane Carla, if I remember right. Did quite a bit of damage around here, but we had a full stadium that night.
I remember Charlie told her, as a matter of fact, and that story is true, that if you had tickets to an Oilers game, never mind a hurricane is coming ashore. The game is going to be played, and damn right we'll be there.
Every day it became clearer. America's newest force of nature was television. It was an engine for information, and if harnessed correctly, a machine to make money. That lesson Lamar Hunt learned from the sport that at the time dwarfed even the National Football League.
Lamar Hunt had been spending much of 1958 trying to decide, does he want to invest in baseball? Does he want to invest in football? And he actually went to a meeting that Branch Rickey held. And one of Rickey's concepts, which he'd gotten from Bill Veeck, was the idea of sharing television revenue. Because Bill Veeck had made a big stink about that, saying that it was unfair that the Yankees should get all this money for the broadcasts in New York when the Cleveland Indians, who Veeck owned, were an equal partner in those games and should share equally in the revenues the Yankees were enjoying. He was branded a socialist for even making the suggestion. But Lamar Hunt understood, in a way that not many people did at the time, that this was not an economic question. It was a competition question.
First, the AFL needed a network. Just months before the league's 1960 debut, it found one in ABC. The deal was negotiated by New York Titans owner Harry Wismer, a former broadcaster who knew how to put on a good show.
Good evening, everyone. This is Harry Wismer inviting you to join me on the 50-yard line of the nation's professional gridiron.
He was a famous radio announcer out of the 40s and 50s and an unabashed promoter, a tub-thumping kind of guy. Nothing wrong with that.
He was somebody who would, at the Waldorf Astoria, be milling around the lobby and then sneak off to a payphone to call the front desk at the hotel and ask to have Harry Wismer paged. And someone would assume that something important is going on with Harry Wismer again.
Who's ever heard of a Titan, number one? And of course, Wismer knew what it was all about. The Titans are bigger than Giants.
The Giants would be in Yankee Stadium, and we'd be at the Polo Grounds, and a lot of people would come over and park their car in the parking lot at the Polo Grounds, and then they would take the subway back over to Yankee Stadium. So the parking lot crowds were a lot bigger than the stadium crowds.
I was able to go up and shake hands with everyone that was there and congratulate them on coming to the game. About half of them said, no, I'm here on a comp. And I said, well, just to get you started, bring a paying customer next time.
Mr. Wismer really thought we were going to have an average crowd of 40,000 to 50,000 people. And when that didn't happen, he was on such a short budget that he just couldn't function.
Coming up, the AFL Goes Showbiz.
We're in Oakland fighting for our lives against the 49ers. It has to be more fun to go to a Raider game.
Tomorrow at noon on NFL Game Day Morning, we'll break down the playoff rematches, find out if Cincy and Philly can rebound from embarrassing losses. NFL Game Day Morning, tomorrow at noon, only on NFL Network.
It's amazing how a simple switch can make life a whole lot better. Try this. Like switching to Esurance. With our Switch and Save discount, just switch from your current car insurance carrier and you'll automatically get a discount.
Thanks, lady.
Esurance is the only insurance company that offers the Switch and Save discount. And that's on top of all the other great Esurance discounts. Once you shop at Esurance, we think you'll find that switching is a good thing. The Switch and Save discount, only from Esurance. Click or call today.
We always talk about football and life. Football's dog-eat-dog, and it's only the strong survive type of operation, and you don't want to show weakness, because if you show weakness, somebody's going after that weakness. A winner is somebody that does things right all the time, not just some of the time, not just when it's easy. If you do things right all the time, you've got a great chance to win on the football field and win when you get off the football field.
Boring room? Ugly room? Make your unsightly room spectacular in a matter of minutes with Fathead. A Fathead is an enormous graphic that sticks to your wall. Life-size athletes, gigantic helmets and logos, and much more. Made from durable vinyl and a patented non-residue adhesive, a Fathead can be taken down, moved, and put back up without leaving a mark or doing damage to your wall. Just log on to fathead.com, where you'll find hundreds of images. And right now, if you buy an NFL Fathead, we'll give you a second one for half price. And that's not all. While supplies last, buy any Fathead, and we'll throw in a free pack of Fathead Tradables. 5 miniature Fathead graphics that fit anywhere. They're free with your purchase. Just enter the code at the bottom of your TV screen. But wait, for a limited time, when you enter this code, we'll ship your entire order for free. Go to fathead.com while these offers are still good and transform your room with Fathead. And now create your own Fathead. Go to fathead.com and click the word custom to upload your photo today.
If you didn't watch NFL Game Day Final, here's what you missed.
You can't just take a week off after you got your butt kicked the last 3 weeks straight and say, you know what, we're going to come out and dominate. It doesn't work like that.
NFL Game Day Final tomorrow after Eagles-Cowboys, only on NFL Network.
All right, we had a great game here this afternoon, folks. It was hard-playing football, the kind that you came to see. We hope that you enjoyed it, and it was a pleasure refereeing a game where people wanted to see a good football game played under the ideal conditions that we play under in the American Football League. Thank you.
I seem to maybe be the only one in my group of peers that was talking the league up. They were hearing and reading things about how it was a second-rate league, how players who played in it were second-rate as well. I actually almost felt that it was mine in my neighborhood because nobody else was interested in it.
I'm not sure if my father even listened or watched the Patriots games, and his own daughter was working for them. Everybody I knew they were a football team. I'm sure they couldn't name 2 or 3 of the players.
And so
we had here a league who had players, Billy Cannon and some others who were known, but most of them were not known. We had to somehow get people caring whether they watched the games or not. I mean, everybody cared if the Giants were playing the Bears. We spent a lot of time trying to personalize some of these players. First of all, what they looked like, and secondly, what kind of people they were. And so we started weaving interviews and things like that in.
Hi, Fred, congratulations. Fred's the tight end for the Dallas Texans.
It's also why we started supering their names. We were able with the AFL, because it was brand new, to do some things that we probably couldn't have done if we had had the NFL at that time.
The American Football League increasingly was becoming a must-see TV, particularly for those who were not dyed-in-the-wool football fans. It was seen as better entertainment.
ABC's bells and whistles captured the spectacle of the AFL. The network was the perfect partner for the innovative league, which brought the two-point conversion to pro football, along with names on the backs of jerseys.
I had a couple of guys reference to me that, you know, Marty, you're really a big name in pro football. You know that, don't you? And I said, well, what do you mean? Well, look at your name. It's 14 letters. That's a big name in pro football. It did pose some issues for our equipment staff.
So the AFL allowed these kinds of things, clearly aware that they were trying to juice up the presentation. There was definitely a kind of a ragtag, Mickey Rooney, let's put on a show in the backyard kind of quality to it.
We had to make it fun. We had to make the experience good. I mean, we're in Oakland fighting for our lives against the 49ers, you know, and we have to, you know, it has to be more fun to go to a Raider game.
Denver was home to unintentional comedy. The Broncos' hosiery was the cruelest joke of all. If they were ever going to have the last laugh, the Broncos would need to hold a roast for their funny socks.
They decided to have a big night. They took and they piled up all the old uniforms, including the socks. These two guys came out onto the field with torches, and they circled the field in front of the fans and dropped the torches into the pile of the old uniforms, and that was the end of them.
Denver fans were overjoyed to see their Broncos in new uniforms.
Go, go, happy from your head right down to your feet.
Costume changes were common in this backyard show of a football league. Before they were the silver and black, the Raiders spent 3 seasons as the black and gold.
Life can be a beautiful thing.
Bills founder Ralph Wilson once owned part of the NFL's Lions. When he came to Buffalo, so did Detroit's silver and blue. 2 years later, the Bills donned red, white, and blue. And every Sunday, their fans partied like it was the 4th of July.
At War Memorial Stadium, there were no rules. There were no regulations. People would bring grills in the aisles. just passed kegs of beer, tapping it. It was a party. It was a festival.
AFL might as well have stood for Always Fun League. No one knew what they might see next.
We're playing the Boston Patriots in Boston, at Boston Field. All the fans, they thought the game was over. So they all came down on the field in that corner of the end zone, and we got time left for one play. We call a slant pass to Chris Burford. Burford is wide open, but suddenly something hits the ball, and it flies out of the end zone, incomplete, we lose the ball game. Cotton Davidson, after the game, he comes over to me, very dejected. He said, "Coach, a guy in a khaki jacket knocked that ball down." We get the films the next day, and sure enough, when the ball was snapped, a guy bounced across like a ballet dancer, reached up, took the ball, and that was it. I said, "Geez, I wish we could have found out who that was. That was the best defensive play we saw all year long in the American Football League."
Coming up, a league on the brink.
Wayne Valley had told Ralph Wilson, "I think we're going to have to shut it down." And Ralph realized we can't go on with 7 teams.
Domino's pizza crust to me is like cardboard.
I hear what some folks are saying about our stuff. Your sauce tastes like ketchup. I mean, that hits you right in the heart.
Most companies hide the criticism, and we actually face it head on.
There comes a time when you know you've got to make a change. We improved everything. 40% more herbs in the sauce. New shredded cheese with tons of flavor. And a new garlic seasoning on the crust. We want everybody to try it. The deal is 2 medium, 2-topping pizzas for $5.99 each. If you don't like it, we'll give you your money back. All of it. Not half of it. All of it.
Relive the action you missed.
Keep that train rolling!
Every game of the postseason is re-aired on NFL Replay. Enhanced with coaches' commentary, NFL films footage, and wired sound.
Just keep battling, we'll get them.
Don't miss the action. NFL Replay, Tuesday and Wednesday starting at 8, only on NFL Network.
This is Frank. Frank can't get high-speed internet where he lives, so he's taking matters into his own hands. Frank is so frustrated with his slow dial-up internet, he'll do anything to get the fast download speeds he's heard so much about. Someone needs to tell him. All he really needs is HughesNet, high-speed internet by satellite. It's super fast, and it doesn't use your phone line, and you don't have to go to great lengths to get it, no matter where you live. It's easy for anyone to have high-speed internet by satellite, even Frank. Hey, Frank, there's a much easier way. Get HughesNet.
Order HughesNet now and get free standard installation. Call 800-884-3520 or go online to HughesNet30.com.
Hank Stram got his first head coaching opportunity in the AFL with the Dallas Texans in 1960. Before that, Stram had been an assistant coach in college football, where he'd learned from the legends.
Hank got things in his head, and he was determined to see them through.
Hank Stram was the best quarterback coach that I ever had. He was my coach at Purdue for a couple of years, and he had helped develop my skills.
Getting ready for the 62 season, Lenny had been in the National Football League for 5 years and threw like 24 passes. And he was very disappointed and very disgruntled about the fact that he wasn't playing. So I told him at that time, I said, "Lenny, if I give anything, if I could get you, so if you have a chance, if there's any way you can get away from where you are, let me know and we'll bring you to Dallas." I say, well, sure enough, in the spring of the year, he calls me and he said, "Coach Brown said that he would put me on waivers and that I would be available for you." And I never forget that I talked to Paul Brown, and Coach Brown said, "Now, Hank," he said, "I want to tell you something. I know you're very loyal, and I know you have a strong feeling for Leonard Dawson, but that kid has lost it." And he said, "If you insist on keeping him, you're going to lose your job."
Reunited with his college mentor, Len Dawson spent 1962 matriculating towards stardom.
Each of the winners will receive an S55 Mercury convertible presented by Lincoln Mercury.
The first presentation will be to Lenny Dawson, Player of the Year.
As the season went on, we started dominating people. We had Abner Haynes in the backfield who was having a phenomenal year. And all of a sudden we're thinking, hey, we could be the team to win it all this year.
On the field, Lamar Hunt's team was winning. Off of it, his league was still struggling to compete with the NFL, especially in two-team towns like Dallas and New York. Chargers owner Barron Hilton conceded Los Angeles to the NFL's Rams, moving south to San Diego in 1961. That same year, the Oakland Raiders were close to abandoning the Bay Area.
They were thinking of either sending us to Seattle or New Orleans, and our owners were going to back out because they needed money.
And Wayne Valley had told Ralph Wilson, I think we're going to have to shut it down. And Ralph, to his credit, realized we can't go on with 7 teams. You can't have a pro football league with 7 teams.
Wilson kept the Raiders alive by loaning them $400,000. Oakland general partner Wayne Valley joked that the AFL owners had become a foolish club. Everyone was losing money, some more visibly than others.
H.L. Hunt, Lamar Hunt's father, was asked,
We understand your son's football franchise lost $1 million this year.
And H.L. Hunt said, well, at that rate, he can only go another 100 years.
He can last 100 years.
I guess he's only got 123 years left.
I've heard many different numbers, and all of them are overly flattering numbers, by the way.
Not every owner was able to hold out for 100 years. By 1962, New York's Polo Grounds had become a graveyard, where Titans owner Harry Wismer was buried in debt.
I remember it was a November day, very sunny at the Polo Grounds. We were practicing, and suddenly there was a kind of an emptiness, a hollowness. And the coaches had surreptitiously slithered off the field. And somebody said, paychecks. I'll bet their paychecks up in the locker room. We realized that the coaches had gotten theirs, and they had a 2 or 3 subway stop head start on us, headed to the one bank, Irving Trust, and the one branch, 39th Street, and the one teller who was authorized to cash a Titan paycheck. You know, we couldn't cash a check or run a bill at Mr. Letterio's grocery store across from the apartment. I mean, Mr. Letterio is a fine Italian gentleman. At one time or another, he'd probably taken care of everybody in the neighborhood, but he just apologized. He said, I read about your husband's football team, and I can't let you have this sausage. So...
3 years earlier, Harry Wismer had been a founding member of the Foolish Club, sharing a common dream with Bud Adams and Lamar Hunt. By the end of the '62 season, his Titans were bankrupt. The league needed a success story in New York, so Wismer's former partners put his franchise up for sale. Whoever owned it next would have to put on a better show than Wismer ever did.
Even though teams were losing $1 million or more a year, and the people who were most closely involved were frequently discouraged, they understood that they really had something here. The league was within the reach of finally being successful.
Coming up, Facing the Facts in Dallas.
Lamar sat him down and said, look, we are not going to make it this way.
X-Men, New Men, New Battles, New Season. Premieres Sunday at 9 p.m. on History.
Hey, Coach, seeing you really brings back some great memories.
Wait a minute, Coach. You're the coach. You taught me everything I know.
No, you're the coach. You taught me everything I know about Nutrisystem. How I can eat the food I love and still lose weight. Heck, I love
2 sports legends. One simple way to lose weight and eat great. Marino, Shula, and Nutrisystem for Men.
Get back in the game in 2010 with Nutrisystem for Men. Order now and you can get 2 weeks of meals absolutely free. Plus the all-new Nutrisystem Jumpstart Kit, designed to put you on the fast track to awesome weight loss.
Like I was saying, Coach, with Nutrisystem.
Let's go to the video. Dan, Glam Man Marino, lost 22 pounds. Don, Blue Suede Chula, lost 32 pounds. Lawrence, I need a new tailor, lost 35 pounds. And me, Chris Boomer Berman, I did go all the way. What? I lost 50 pounds thanks to Nutrisystem.
Order now and you can get 2 weeks of meals free. That's 14 breakfasts, lunches, dinners, desserts, and snacks. That's 70 meals absolutely free.
What I really love about Nutrisystem is the food. Pizza,
burgers, pasta.
Look, if you can eat,
you can lose weight.
Nutrisystem is based on the proven science of the glycemic index. High in fiber and good carbs to keep you feeling fuller longer and help consistently burn calories. Just ask the 4 out of 5 men who say that Nutrisystem satisfies their hunger.
Any guy could do this. Just set a goal.
I reached my goal, 50 pounds, gone. And I owe it all to the coach.
Thanks, Boomer.
Start your year off right. Order now and you can get 2 weeks of meals free. Plus, you'll get the all-new Nutrisystem Jumpstart Kit, our secrets to ultimate weight loss. Call or click now.
Just listen to the coach.
Trust us.
Nutrisystem works.
Welcome to NFL Total Access.
The show that takes you inside the locker room is now in HD. With inside access to all 32 teams all year long. NFL Total Access tonight at 7, only on NFL Network.
The first debate, I was driving from Orlando down to Miami. And so I heard it on radio, and I got to my radio station, and I said, boy, that was really close. And Nixon was bright, Kennedy was bright, they agreed on a lot of things. That ain't going to change the numbers.
If you had sat with a transcript of that debate, Nixon won. But Kennedy looked young and vigorous, and Nixon looked old and tired. It was another part of American life that was transformed by television.
Television could turn perception into reality and back again.
Unitas gives to Amici. The Colts are the world champions. Amici scores!
In 1958, it transformed the NFL into a rising power among American sports. 4 years later, on December 23, 1962, the Houston Oilers and Dallas Texans would play in the AFL's third title game, live on ABC. This was the day the new league would take its first step into the American spotlight.
Number 16, the veteran quarterback. Intercepted by number 45, Dave Grayson's at the 40, 35, 30.
We threw 2 or 3 interceptions in the first half, and we got down 17-0 very, very quickly.
It's a fake to McClinton. Dawson throwing to Haynes. He's got him to the 20. He's under the 5, and he's over. Haynes scores.
The Texans looked like they would cruise to their first championship. But in blew that famous Houston weather, and with it, the winds of change.
Who can hurt you from any place on the field in many ways, and you saw him stay in bounds and game.
In the second half, the Oilers roared back to tie the game at 17. Like the NFL 4 years earlier, the AFL was producing a sudden death drama on live television.
Playoff period. Let's go down to Jack at the 50-yard line.
Right here in the playing field, and very shortly we're going to have the toss of the coin as the overtime period will come about.
Stram decided having 40-mile-an-hour winds at Dallas's back was more important than getting the ball first. So he told Abner Haynes to choose the wind if Dallas won the toss.
While the coin's in there, and call it loudly now. Yeah. Call it. Heads. Heads! Now, Dallas won. You have your choice, of course, receiving or kicking. We will kick to the clock. You're going to kick? Yes. To the clock. Right. Dallas won.
Haynes misspoke. He thought he was taking the wind, but the words, "will kick," meant Dallas had made its choice and would kick off. Houston then chose which end zone to defend. The Oilers would begin overtime with the wind and the ball. It was a dramatic twist a nation of viewers got to see and hear.
Well, Kurt, and I asked one of the Dallas players what it was all about, and he simply said Abner Haynes had made a mistake.
Neither team scored in the first overtime. In the second, The team switched sides, and Dallas finally had the wind at its back.
Puts Dallas now in real scoring position.
Dawson would hold for rookie Tommy Brooker, who had a chance to kick Dallas to a championship.
I said, Tommy, just keep your head down, keep it still, and pump it through there, baby. He said, don't worry about it, Coach. I'll kick that sucker right through there like it had eyes.
You can win the game if this field goal is good. The game is tied 17-17. Dawson will hold in the 24. And watch it. The big rush is on. The kick is up. The kick is good. Dallas is the champion. Dallas wins it on a 24-yard field goal by Tommy Brooker. Their coach, Hank Stram, carried off the field. And
there's no way that you can come away from it and not say, this was one of the greatest football games ever played. All of that, the magic carpet of television brought right into your living room.
One of the greatest football games I've ever seen.
Dallas's victory ended Houston's 2-year run as champions. It also came on a day in which weather was particularly bad up in the Northeast. There were a lot of people watching the game on TV.
And congratulations.
Thank you very much, Jack.
And it was an excellently played game. It was a dramatic game. It was the AFL's real coming-of-age party.
And we're just as proud as can we that we can win the championship and bring it back to Dallas, Texas.
I thought, geez, this is it. The Cowboys are going to be leaving. They'll have to leave Dallas now because we are the champions. But that wasn't the case. The case was that Lamar Hunt wanted the league to succeed.
Lamar Hunt realized, even though he wanted to stay in Dallas, he could not be truly successful in a town that was divided. The Cowboys could wait it out longer because the NFL was going to be around. The NFL was clearly there to stay. The AFL was much more of a touch-and-go proposition. What he needed to do was create the perception and also the reality that the league was becoming more successful. And the only way to do that was to move his franchise.
For Hank Stram to win the championship in 1962 and then move, he said he just cried his eyes out. Lamar sat him down and said, look, we are not going to make it this way. Broke his heart too.
In the years to come, the AFL would need more than a few successful teams. It would need a league of strong franchises. It would need palatial new homes and compelling new faces. But before any of that could happen, Lamar Hunt would have to put the league before his team. For Hunt, for his Kansas City Chiefs, for the AFL, for everyone. History was about to crack wide open.
On the next Full Color Football.
Lance Allworth was the best wide receiver of the 60s, and he played in the AFL.
The American Football League begins to forge its own identity.
The notion that blacks and whites could be equal was hard one for a lot of people in the country to accept.
Watch Full Color Football, introduced by John Madden, next Thursday at 10, only on NFL Network.
I'm Darryl